Okay.
Okay. Uh, Thank you and welcome to the January 21st, 2026, the first meeting of the new year of the Board of Water Commissioners of the Cotuit Fire District. And we have a quorum. We have Commissioners Horsley, Commissioner Churbuck, and your chair, Commissioner Robinson, along with staff, Superintendent Christopher Wiseman, Office Manager Jen Nash, Matt Dwyer, and I think we'll have another, not yet, but anyway, we're expecting JR from the staff as well. So, welcome, members of the public, and this is an opportunity to participate at the beginning of the meeting, and also we'll ask for any comments as we go through our agenda later today. Is there any public comment at this point? We have a Zoom-only meeting, so what you need to do is either wave your hand or let Jen know that you'd like to say something at this point.
Mark, I just admitted somebody. It might have been JR. I'm not sure. I tried to admit
Oh,
somebody popped in, but I don't see them. Um, I got a ding, and I admitted. Jen, do you see somebody else joining?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well,
No.
maybe they disappeared. I tried.
Yeah. JR is texting me, but he's going to try and log in on his phone.
Okay.
So we'll add him when he comes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not seeing any public comment at this point. We will ask for it later. And we have a water quality report from the superintendent.
Oh, Mark, before you go, Matt does have his hand raised and would like to
Oh,
share during public comment.
I didn't see it.
Hmm.
Thank you. Okay, Matt, go
Here
ahead. You
comes
got to
JR.
unmute.
I was a little late with a hand raise. I'm glad JR is joining because this is a joint effort on this little project and study that we put together. I don't know if you guys have the paperwork in front of you with the on-call and overtime compensation structure.
I have it, yes.
Okay,
And I will share it on the screen as well.
thank you. So for the last couple months, JR and myself, we looking at the temporary increase that we were approved last year for the $350 um, on-call bonus was increased to $375 just temporarily because we've been so short-staffed, and we'd like to revisit that. But what we did was we talked to a lot of the neighboring water departments in different districts and kind of got together a good consensus of what everybody else is dishing out, as far as on-call bonuses and their overtime structures, and compared it to our own here in Cotuit. And we've come to the realization that we are very much on the lower end of the median. So we took some time, we put together all this information, and we'd like to see an increase. We're asking. Um, we'd like to increase the on-call bonus from $350, which it's currently at, to $400 per week. And that it's a slight increase from that temporary from the 375. So on top of that, we were looking at the overtime minimums. Currently, we have a 1 hour overtime minimum. And if you refer to that second page, it'll give a lot more in detail of what other districts and water departments are giving their guys for the for overtime minimums. So that would put us more in the median range. We don't want to ask too much. We're very happy with what we have, but it does kind of boil down to there's only been two of us on call really for the last, if I had to say, about 2.5 years. We were lucky to have our last employee join the on call committee, but he's no longer here, and we're back to square one with training the new hire. We're in hopes that we'll be able to share the on-call duties by, I'd say, probably May or June. Um, let's see if you have any questions. I don't want to skip over anything, but there's quite a bit of information here. I don't know if you guys want to go over it one by one or if you want to take a couple minutes and look at it, whatever you prefer.
Okay, well, thanks, Matt. I haven't had a chance to look at this prior to the meeting. I'm sorry. Um, so this would be something that would be part of our operating budget for the coming year.
Correct.
Um,
Yep.
And
There's
we,
not, and let me just finish that.
all right,
This is not something that needs to be decided tonight. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay, and then I would like to ask Chris for his opinion.
Yeah, these guys came to me earlier. Can you hear me okay? I don't see me popping up.
We can hear.
Okay. Yeah, they proposed this to me last month, and I said I would bring it to you guys because I don't see anything really wrong with this. I think they deserve it. I think that they should be at least equal to our neighbors, and you can see that some of it is underpaid. So I told them I would bring it to you, and they said they prefer to do it themselves. So that's why they're here doing it, and I do agree with it. Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks, Matt. I'd really like to table this for the next meeting because, again, I haven't had a chance to study it. I really appreciate the fact that you've done this research, and we do want to be in line competitive with our fellow districts and water suppliers. We know that you've been handling an extra load, unfortunately, for the off and on for the last year or so. Commissioners Horsley or Turbuck, do you have any comments at this
Yeah,
point?
I guess I have a question. Can you hear me? I want to make sure my
Yeah.
microphone is on. So, Matt, first of all, thanks for coming to us because we want to be responsive and appreciate you being here. So, thank you for that. And I guess I'm just thinking about the weather, the upcoming weekend, and which I suspect is one of the drivers of these kind of situations. So, Chris, I guess a question for you. How does this relate to like sort of unusual events like might occur this coming weekend? Is this exactly what this covers, or how do we?
This is more of with an event like that, they're going to be out plowing for 2 to 4 hours usually. You get a minimum of 2 hours plowing out there, anyways. This is just more to the fact of if they get a call and they have to go down the pumping station and reset, fix the oil tank, something that really only takes them an hour to do. But between getting up and the pain of having to do it, it is something that's become the norm around the minimum, the overtime minimum, and everything else.
So this would kind of be above and beyond like a big storm event that might require more time on a weekend.
Correct. Yeah. This is for some of the smaller things. I'd say like they have in here 4 hour minimum call out between midnight and 6. So if they have to go out, you know just as much as me. If you get back, you can't fall back asleep. Then you got to get up early in the morning to go back to work and stuff. So it's this is more of with a snow event like that, they're going to get paid anyways, their hours, and
Okay.
it's probably going to be, like I said, 2 to 4 hours for them to go out.
All right.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Please,
And
JR.
Yeah, so this is more for like dirty water complaints, like freeze ups and all that. Because with the snow, that's just going to tack on. Usually, if it's on a weekend like that, we're just tacking that onto our already 2 hours for doing the pumping stations and all that. So this is more for the dirty waters, service leaks, that type of stuff.
All right. Thanks, JR.
No problem.
Commissioner Turbuck.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My concern is that we're shorthanded, and we've been shorthanded for a considerable period in the last year. I respect your desire to table this for another month, but could we consider raising the overtime rate at least $50 in the short term?
The on-call rate.
The on-call rate.
Okay. Just want to make sure I understood.
So is that a motion, Dave?
Yeah, I'd like to move that we increase the on-call bonuses from $350 to $400 per week and um, leave it at that. And then we can revise the overtime minimums at our next meeting after you've had a chance to review.
Okay, is there a second?
Well, before I second, I'm not opposed to that, Dave, but I do want to. The chairman mentioned he has had a chance to review this. I've only taken a quick look at it. It sounds reasonable to me, but I guess I would ask to amend your motion to see if we could take it up at the next meeting, just to provide the time for the chair to look at the information that's been provided here. I don't think it's an unreasonable request at all. And again, as I said before, I want to be responsive, so I'm not sure I'm ready to second it unless the chair suggests that I do so. And I do see that Matt's hand is up here.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, if I may add, so currently, um, we are being paid $375 in a temporary increase. So we would potentially, if you do motion forward or what, I'm sorry, the verbiage, it would only be a $25 increase as of right now. Instead of going the 350 to 400, it won't be as drastic because we are currently being paid $375 temporarily until the new hire goes on call.
Okay. Well, what I would say is we could make any increase that we decide on retroactive to tonight if we want, so it covers the calendar year. But I didn't hear a second, so I'm going to ask that we table this for the 1 month. And I think that you've heard a sense of the board that we're supportive. We just want to make sure that we have had a chance to review all the data that you provided, which is very, very kind of you to do so. Okay, so thanks very much, guys, for coming. You're welcome to stay and see what else is going on here, or you're free to go about your dinner time plans. We're going to proceed. Okay?
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
So, Chris, do you want to get into your
Sure.
water quality report?
Yeah, sure. And just to let you guys know too, not that it really matters, but I do believe we have money in the budget if you wanted to raise it another 25. There might possibly be enough in there to cover between overtime and everything. I'd have to
Okay.
relook at that and everything else, and I can give you a better answer next week. Next
Thank
month.
you. Thank you.
This is the superintendent's report read on January 21st.
Just including the water quality report?
Oh, the water quality. I'm sorry. I was thinking the other one. I apologize. We'd had no coliform hits in the last 2 months. We're been pretty clean. I will confess here, we have not done the PFAS sampling that was supposed to be done in November. And then I put it up to December, and it was just between sickness and vacations and everything else. It got pushed off again. So I'm hoping to get this next week, the PFAS done. We do have the bottles in-house, and I'm hoping to get that done. And it's totally on me that it didn't get done. It just kept falling. Every time we had it planned on a Monday or a Tuesday, something happened and we couldn't do it. So we kept putting it off and trying it. Other than that, I don't have any results to offer of any kind of quarterly testing yet. We do have to do BOCs next month, or this quarter, and I think that's all right now for this quarter.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question on PFAS.
Scott?
Yeah, Chris, I got an email today, and I don't know if others got it. I don't think it came through Jen or the office. I think it came from I think it came from DEP actually, and it was regarding PFAS, but I didn't get a chance to read it. It came in mid-afternoon. Anybody else see that? And I'm wondering what the ramifications of that might be.
I did not see anything from them, so
I'm going to look for it and forward it to everybody.
Yeah, if you got something, that'd be great.
Yeah.
It might have come in. Tell you the truth. Well, no, we left at 4:30, and I hadn't come in by then.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see anything either.
Well, if you could forward that, Scott, that'd be.
I will. I'll
Yeah.
I'm looking for it during our as I can here. Yes.
Chris, we always know that the the important is at the mercy of the urgent, and sometimes you can't get to things, and the holidays and the flu going around. It's
Yeah, this
a wonderful time of year in many
it
ways.
is,
Not been
and
fun.
it's gone through us all. Believe me, we've
Yeah.
had people out for 3-4 days at times and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just that flu's been horrible this year. I had it once, and then I got
I
a bad
had
cold
it.
afterwards. That I had it again. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, proceed.
Other than that, that's water quality. You do see here some of the pumpage and stuff. I will go over if you want my report, and that has the actual numbers.
Well, I think you could just summarize it. We can see the numbers, I think.
Yeah. In November of 2024, we had 6,712,000, and 2025 we had 6,340,000 for a decrease of 372,000, which is on there. You can't really see it. And then next month, December, we had 7,393,000, and 25 we had 6,354,000 for a decrease of 1,039,000. So we've had a real dry winter. Actually, we're just starting to get some snow and rain and everything, and it's still not doing much for our wells. Our wells are fine. I shouldn't say that. The groundwater levels in the test wells that we have or that we have to follow is still well below the DEP guidelines for to be that we're in drought still.
Yeah. So the bottom line here is I see for the 12-month period, we have an increase. I can't see that number. Is it 5 million, 5.8?
Sorry, let me move
Correct.
this.
Yeah.
So we pumped more water this year than we did last year, calendar year.
We did.
Yeah.
I will note though, Mr. Chairman, June, July, and August, our pumping is down below at least two of the prior 5 years. And I know that these monthly pumpings are totally rain related in terms of irrigation, but it looks to me like we're still getting a significant benefit from the irrigation policy. That's my quick read on this stuff. Even though the annual pumping might be up, if I'm reading this correctly, the bar graphs on the far right, the 25, are below 21, 22. Is that right, Jen? Am I reading that correctly?
July looks like an increase. June looks pretty even. August is an increase.
Well, I'm sorry,
September is a little
but
bit.
I'm comparing it to all four. Again, it's hard to read because of
Oh, I see.
rainfall, but if you
Yeah.
look at the 4 years preceding,
Sure.
it looks like we're below so June we're below 20 122. July it looks like we're below 21 22.
Yeah,
August it looks like we're below 21 22.
correct.
But yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
Do we have a sense of how rainfall summer 25 compared to 24 23?
So Jen's showing something we asked her to do recently, which is
So,
Yeah.
Scott,
rainfall.
you were gonna send me your source for rainfall, and I didn't see that, so I did the best I could with internet searches and Otis Air Force Base being probably the closest for material, and I'm not really sure how to put the line across the top for the rainfall. So I just made a few notes down here. We did just do the billing for the July to December period. And I just wanted to let you know that billing is up about 13% over last year for the usage.
Mhm.
And then I did put the rainfall totals in for June through October. And we are
Okay, there
down
you go. Yep.
0.3 inches in rainfall this year.
All right, thank you. Yeah, the website that I normally have used in the past, National Weather Service site that plots monthly has been taken down by the administration
Yep.
because they feel like this
Of course.
information is no longer useful. I'm a little surprised by that, but actually I'm not surprised at all.
It was up there for most of it, and I think
Yeah.
September and October were missing, so I did have to get that from a different source, but I did use the
Yeah,
national source.
yeah. We're dealing with a lot less data now.
Yeah,
Data is not important anymore.
especially environmental data.
Correct.
Hmm. Okay. Well, continues to be a mix of water rates and drought. We're still in significant drought for the Cape. Um, I think for some reason Martha's Vineyard isn't, but the Cape is, and other parts of the state are even more critical drought. Um, it's all about the snowpack, as I've learned from Chris, that
Yeah.
the melting of the snowpack is better for the replenishment of the water table than driving rains that tend to run off before they can enter the soil. Um, so let's hope for a couple of blizzards, maybe one this weekend.
Oh, hush, you.
So I keep telling her, well, we actually need it. So
You
Yeah.
do.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else on your report, Chris?
There's really not much to report on association news of the different associations. They're all still having classes. There is some meetings coming up, group meetings and stuff. I'm going to Worcester in April. I've already signed up. Well, I've already got my hotel, I guess we'll say, for the night up there and everything. Under general discussion, we had 3 replacement services go in November, no new. And we had no services put in December, either new or replaced. We had no leaks in the last 2 months. I had been filling you guys in on the antenna lease that they wanted to extend it out 40 years instead of the 23 that's left on there.
Right.
I gave the information to Attorney Mann, who is our lease attorney. He came back with some questions on it. I called Mark Boudreau again to talk to him because we have a law that says because we're a fire district, we can only have a 10-year lease. If we were a water district, we could have 20. But since we fall under the purview of the fire district, we can only do a 10-year. Because they're 5-year with options, that's kind of how we got around it. He said to me, I wouldn't do it because we're already pushing the envelope a little. So I do have to call back Attorney Mann and just say, well, kind of everything we're looking at there. If there's anything else to discuss, it doesn't look like we'll go into the 40-year lease. We'll probably just currently stay with what we have and run it out to 23 years and renegotiate then.
Well, I think citing the law to them should give you some good backup.
Yeah. Yep. And the other thing I have on here is we've actually hired a new employee. Starts on Monday.
Oh, good.
So we did have, I did 3 interviews, and his name is Jeff Marks. He's from Falmouth, and he was a landscape foreman, and he's really looking forward to it. So he
when does he
impressed me.
Start soon?
Yep. They starting on Monday. Yeah.
Good.
Our new truck arrived. I don't know if you saw that, and we're putting the other one out to sealed bid. We're selling it outright. I think that's next Wednesday or Tuesday is the opening of those. We haven't received any yet, but we've had a few phone calls and a couple people take bid forms on them. You guys had I don't know if you want to talk about this later, but I had sent it, I believe, to you guys, Tom Cambereri's proposal for doing a source stream flows and everything else over by Station 5. We had asked him to work up something.
Yep.
And I think I sent it in October to you guys. I don't know for sure. If I didn't, I will resend it to you tomorrow. Does anybody remember getting that?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I have a copy of it with me here, but that doesn't help me by showing you up in the air or anything like that.
Okay, well, send it around and we'll examine it
Yes,
next time.
so we can
Thank
vote
you.
on it maybe next meeting or something to that effect. Yeah. Um,
Jen, make sure that gets on the agenda next time.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks.
the last thing I have on here is I was also approached by some people in the past. We had the day after, after Christmas was declared a federal holiday, and we all took it off anyways and just used a vacation day on that. Um, I don't know if our, I guess I'll say our handbook doesn't state that if it's just a federal holiday, we get it off. If anything's brought up or made that, it's not going to be a reoccurring one. I didn't know if you guys minded if I put out a floating holiday for the guys and just said use it up before the end of the fiscal year, so that they're not using up time that was they maybe didn't have to.
So that was a one-off, you're saying?
Yeah, President Trump made it a federal holiday just like 2 weeks before Christmas.
It was only for this year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only for this year. Yeah.
Uh, okay. I guess because it was a Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was the day after Christmas, so nobody had to go back to work. I think he did it.
Yeah. So the handbook talks about federal holidays.
It talks about holidays and what we get. It doesn't specifically say that if a holiday comes up that we have to take it. But in the past, when the holiday has been accepted, I come to you and you guys voted in to be put into the handbook.
Hmm. Any comments by the commissioners, Dave?
Yeah, it was an executive order the president issued on Christmas Eve, and it's a one-off. It's just this one past year. It was only for federal employees. I have no problem with Chris's request, though.
Okay. It sounds reasonable to me. Scott, did you hear?
Yeah,
Did
I
you hear
did.
what
I
Dave
did.
said?
I'm fine with that. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So Dave, make a motion, please.
I move that we grant the staff of the Cotuit Water Department a extra holiday to be taken at their discretion to cover the day after Christmas holiday in 2025. To
Is
be
it-
taken,
They
to be
haven't taken
taken
within this fiscal year.
within this fiscal year.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Thanks. All in favor, say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. It's unanimous.
Okay. And that,
Thank you so much.
and that concludes what I have. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the commissioners on the superintendent's reports?
Well, I'm still staring at this graph here. I do want to make one more comment or observation. I'm still, thank you for reminding me, Jen, that you did include the rainfall for the summer, which is great. And it essentially tells me that 24-25 was the same, but we're seeing increased demand, right? So back to my class in economics in college, which was about 100 years ago. I think this deals with price elasticity, as I recall. And I'm just wondering if at some point we should revisit our rates again. It seems like we're not maybe having as much effect as we could. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I don't want to delay this, but I guess my question is, and I'm not asking for an answer tonight, but why would the pumpage go up so much in July and August? Looks pretty significant given the same amount of rainfall. I don't think we had a lot of new services, Chris, and we shouldn't have any new irrigation systems. So it seems like people are just willing to pay more to irrigate. Is that the best explanation of this? And again, we don't need to. I don't want to take too much more time on this tonight, but it is interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we've also seen the study that we have uh, the most graduated rates on the Cape. Um, and yeah, they're clearly not producing any discernible results in behavior. We never really talked about swimming pools. Just in a sense of, I know we have more swimming pools, in-ground pools, than we used to have in Cotuit. I don't know how many more, but I wonder if I don't know much about swimming pools. How often do you change the water? Is it just one and done for the season?
Yeah, I mean, you have to add water to them from evaporation yearly. They drain them down halfway in the wintertime, usually, I believe, and then fill them back up the rest of the way in the summer when summer comes again. There's not a, I don't know of any more than that this year that went in. I know that the year before there was like two or three that went in town, but
Do they need?
yeah, they're not a huge user, but some
No.
of them have automatic feeds.
Yeah.
So when it gets down so low, it has a timer on there and it squirts in some water, have automatic feeds. We've had problems with those getting stuck before with
Hmm.
people
Yeah.
where they've gone in and instead of running in, it's just running off to the side someplace.
Or the pool has a leak and that automatic pool filler runs 24/7.
Yeah.
Huh. Uh, and we don't have, now that we have better monitoring, we're not seeing more leaks in general.
Um,
We did
we're
pick up a
catching up.
few anomalies, let's say high usage, when we read at the end of, when did we read? June, July, at the end of September, beginning of October. And we do reach out to the homeowners when we see that, but a lot of times that's too late to catch anything happening in June, July, and August.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, Scott, I think it's there's a lot of variables in this mix, and we haven't seen the demand become more elastic. It seems to be inelastic, as you said.
Yeah, and again, I remember one of the concerns of the Prudential Committee was, hey, if we raise the rates, we're going to run out of revenues because people are going to stop using water.
Right.
I don't think we're seeing that.
No, we're not, and we're making more money.
Right, right.
Um,
I'll just mention one more thing. Sorry. So I'm working in the town of Truro in Provincetown, water demand. They're looking at a new well site. It's the costs they're looking at are between $8 and $15 million to develop a new well site. And when I started as a commissioner, that was one of the first things I was asked to do because of potential increasing demand. So by not going there, we're saving ourselves probably $10 to $20 million. And again, this is water that's being used on primarily on lawns. So I, for one, don't think we should do everything we can to avoid a $10 to $20 million expense to provide better, wetter lawns. And
right.
so, as you know, I'm obsessed with this, but I think for a good reason. And where I see those rates going up in the last couple of years, I think we should just pay attention to this. So, we have the data. And again, I've already taken more time tonight than I anticipated, but maybe at a future meeting we can look at this again
Hmm.
because I think this is of concern to me. Because if those rates keep going up, we're going to be looking for a new well site.
Yeah. Jen, are
Mr.
we seeing more complaints about the pricing, about
Um,
bills? Yeah. My bill is outrageous.
Today, there was barely a minute that there wasn't either somebody in the office or somebody on the phone or 9 voicemails to return as people are starting to open their bills. I've had a lot of conversations about pools and automatic pool fillers, irrigation systems, leak in the irrigation. And I gently but firmly push them to consider a private on-site irrigation well. And I've had several people ask me for to recommend companies that do that. And obviously, we don't recommend, but I tell them the number of or the names of some that we know that have done business in the district. So, I think every year we get a little bit more and more attrition. Adoption of people putting in on-site irrigation wells. but this summer seemed to be a little bit drier and even systems with sensors now are saying, they're going to say it's dry and we need to water. And I just tell people that they're responsible for their water usage. If they need to run their system manually or not run it at all, it's on them. It's an easy story to tell, and I tell it nicely, and they say I can't be mad at you because you're nice. But yeah, there's been a lot of high bills this year.
Yeah. We did a breakdown when we set the last rates
Yeah.
of how many people were in each tier. I wonder if we could do that again.
Yes, I have to send a usage report to Alicia at the town. So when I do that, I'll do a sort uh, to see if we can to break it down by percentage of who's in the under 60, 60 to 100 and over 100, I think is how we did it last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that would be concerning, Scott, is that to what degree is Cotuit becoming, more year-round rather than seasonal, as it was in the old days. But that
That
would
that should that
that
should
would suggest more off-season increases that we're not
right.
seeing. Yeah,
Right. And that doesn't, I mean, that wouldn't affect the summer peak stuff, which we're seeing go up in July and August here the last 3 years.
right. Imagine if every house was a year-round house, though, they would it would be bad.
They're turning on their irrigation system whether they're here year round or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, certainly something to keep thinking about. Um,
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
yeah.
How close are we to our permitted pumpage from the state? This goes to Commissioner Horsley's comment about avoiding the expense of a new well. I understand the state has reduced our pumpage
A little bit.
in
Yeah.
2026.
Well, I defer that to Chris, but Chris, I remember you telling me, correct me if I'm wrong, that the biggest concern to me is that your water levels get close to your intake screens during the summer or have done that peak pumping, which would, to me, would be a critical reason why to move on to a new well if we need it. Is that right?
Correct. We do not go near our allotted amount. I think it's 63.
630,000 gallons a day.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and we don't even get close to that right now. I don't. In the summertime, we have certain wells that will get down within 5 feet of the screen, but that is during the drought stuff. We turned them down this year, and even this whole dry summer, we didn't have any problems with our wells. There was none of them that we thought, we get nervous on or anything like that. Where in the years past there has been. That morning, to tell you the truth, that 2 months a year that we're pumping a little bit extra is not hurting us like it used to.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Is there any public comment on the superintendent's report? Don't see any. Okay. What's next on the agenda, Jen?
Next on the agenda is source water protection test well and CWMP update from Commissioner Horsley.
I'll be very brief. I am in the process of preparing a hopefully final report to the town council on the CWMP update. In terms of ramifications for Cotuit, nothing. We had the workshop. Nothing, no major changes except that it looks like we're going to adopt or recommend that the Board of Health adopt a health regulation requiring the use of these IA septic systems within 1,000 feet of the shoreline. And that would cover a significant part of Cotuit. That would be triggered by new construction, upgrades, failures, etc. I don't see it as any kind of a direct impact on our water supply system, but I just mention it for informational purposes. I remain concerned about the long-term continued use of Title V systems in our upgrading of our main well field. That's why we had the workshop. That there's no change to that in terms of recommended changes to that for that purpose.
Could I ask a question, Scott, just onto
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
When you say shoreline, are you talking ocean? Are you talking pond? Also?
Talking, yeah, shoreline. Good question, Chris. So it's the way it's written, it's 1,000 feet from the waterfront, and waterfront is defined by the marine waters or streams leading to the marine waters and the wetlands. So it would go up the stream somewhat.
Okay.
And there is a map that the DPW has prepared that shows this, which I'll try to get a copy of that and provide that to you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could. I just,
Sure.
on my own curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy to provide that, Chris. Good question.
Scott, what was the recommendations for, I know there was some concern about where the treated water was going to go. Did that get figured out?
No, it has not gotten figured out, in my opinion. This is still an ongoing issue, essentially, where the town CWMP plan is to deliver a significant higher volume of wastewater going to the Hyannis treatment plant without a concluded place to put it. They don't have enough capacity at the existing site. Groundwater mounding is causing the water table to rise potentially into people's basements. And they are looking at alternatives, but that has not been decided. So short answer to the question is still under study in
Okay.
terms of where to put the extra wastewater in Hyannis, which is a little
Thank you.
concerning, I think,
Yeah.
Yes,
in my opinion.
agreed. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Next on the agenda.
Next on the agenda is the conservation restriction for the school property.
Yeah, no response from the town. Next.
You're going faster than my notes. Next is the enabling legislation update.
Still in the Senate Committee on Rules, no change, no update.
Okay. Look at us flying through the agenda.
Yeah, we'll get stuck somewhere.
It's coming up. The pipe replacement discussion.
Yes. That is Mark and myself, I believe. You had sent me some questions back in November, I think, Mark.
Right.
You didn't want to go over it last time on
I think it's
Zoom.
October and we didn't go over it in November. I wanted to give you time to just have a chance to start thinking about how to respond to some of the answers. So it would be fun to just kind of riff on it now, and what I'd like to do is to capture your brain dump. I don't know if AI could do it for us or if AI Jen can do it for us.
I can give you some answers to the questions that are on here. You had asked how many miles of main we have and if there are really some from the 30s that exist. And we have 53 miles of main. And yeah, the ones that were put in 1936 are all still there. And they were all cast iron that was original. They might have had leadite for a connection in between. Leadite is a sulfur based. It's not lead. It's sulfur based, but it's something you can melt down in a pot and pour it around the joint to keep it locked in and everything. So the materials
was the original 1936 mains, were they just Main Street down to Ocean View?
they came from they came originally from the water department itself. That was the original pumping station. The 4300 ran up 28 to Main Street, then down Main Street to the Main Street tank that came out there. It kept on going down to Ocean View Ave and fed around Ocean View Ave there. I'm not positive if it went out and dead ended. I believe that's where it ended at the first time. There is a map someplace that I've seen in that building, but I can't find it. I tried looking for it. I couldn't find it on there.
Yeah.
I have some older stuff, but that one I couldn't find.
Hmm.
You asked about the different materials that we've used in the past. And as I just said, there was cast iron. We do have some ductile iron right now is the current class 52 ductile iron. It's a lighter steel, but a much stronger. We do have a little bit of PVC in there, and I didn't know if you wanted me to get into service material or just water mains. Service material can be anything from cement-lined iron pipe to
These are
PVC.
the laterals to the houses?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And,
so
but
the 1-inch pipe,
we
the
don't put
2-inch
those
pipe,
in. Those are not our responsibility, are they?
we put them in under and inspect them to make sure they're to our specs.
To get them up to the house itself.
Correct. We have
Okay.
our contract to put them in. They have to pay for it, but we have our contract to put them in,
Right.
and we inspect those. We always have. There's copper in there still in the ground from that also. We don't use any kind of solder in our system. Right now, as I said, we used leadite in the past. We use rubber gaskets now. That's what pops in with them now that keeps everything locked in. Let's see, where are we here? You asked for percentages of 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch diameter and others and stuff. They're a little low, but we have 24% of the system is 6-inch, 57% is 8-inch, 11 is 10, and 5 roughly is 12. That's as high as we go.
And the 12 would be running down Main Street, maybe, or not?
12 runs from comes out from the pipes that are different, like the feed out towards the Pine Groves area. Like we have a 12-inch feed that runs down Cotuit Road, up and around, and feeds that area going into Bay Road, then goes up so that you have plenty of volume going out to that end of town. So there is a lot of that there. There is some coming out of the tanks to keep the flow there. That's where the 10-inch that we don't put in anymore. That was the original water system that put that 10-inch in. It's out in front of the water department there. For a stretch it was running out, and down by where the Main Street tank was, had it going both ways for a certain amount of distance, the 10-inch to feed out for the system. We do not currently have any kind of a replacement plan out there. That would take a little bit of I guess that's something for an engineering service to kind of look at and give requests on, I would say.
Yeah.
We don't have any sections right now that are, if I had a problematic section of like I say, just say 28 was leaking every year, I was getting 2-3 leaks out of it, I would request that we replace some of that stuff. But right now, we don't get many cracks or anything like that. We've been really fortunate.
What was the reason to replace Lewis Pond Road last year?
It had a 2-inch main running through it, and we wanted to increase it up so that we got better flow through there. Yeah. And there was houses, so many houses on the 2-inch line, so we wanted to increase the water quality over there.
Okay.
Chris, just to add to that, we do have in our 5-year plan some discussion about replacing sections on Roosevelt and what was the other one?
Truman.
And then in the next fiscal year, we had 500,000, and I can't remember.
I'm not positive on that one where we were talking about, but yeah, that was over on Roosevelt's area, is because of the dirty water complaints over there that we get a lot of, and that's why we wanted to increase them up, the 6-inch that's over there and everything, and put in new water main so that we could try to get away from the dirty water complaints that are over there and everything for water quality also.
And in fiscal 28, we have, I believe it's a section of Santuit Newtown Road.
Yes, there's a 6-inch line that feeds up from 28, which I'd like to increase to an 8-inch to keep it a better flow going through there to keep everything going. And it might be even original.
What about the there was some things I noticed on the map that we we do serve a few people outside of
Yeah,
the
we have
district.
about 13 people that we serve outside of the district, maybe under 15, I would say. We originally, when we put water services in, we used to charge them double because they didn't pay taxes to Cotuit. John Anderson actually came in and said, "That's ridiculous. We shouldn't be doing that. We're making money off them anyways. They're paying for the water. Let's put it back." And they stopped doing that at that point. We do have a couple lots that are half in Osterville, half in Marston's Mills, or half in Mashpee that gets fed. There is one house on 28 that Mashpee feeds, which is actually in Cotuit, but we never had the water main down there until we put the well field in. So we kind of went right by the house and didn't make them hook up to it. But we have a water main out in front of that house. If they ever have to redo it, replace it, they'll have to go to us.
Yeah.
Then there are developments in Cotuit that we don't even feed near. Over on the backside of, I would say, Old Post Road, where it comes down into the mills. There's like it starts out in Marston's Mills and opens up to a Cotuit section in the back, which we have no way to get access to the water there. And I mean, even Jen's house used to be in Cotuit, but she was fed by Com, because there's no way to get down the end of that road. Get her roads, her development stuck out into Cotuit.
Yeah.
I think she was the only house too on that road.
Nope, there's two of us, or it was two of us on Lord's Lane, my neighbor, the Andersons, and us. I was still on a well. The Andersons connected through COM, even though they were Cotuit residents, paid Cotuit Fire District tax. Yep.
Yeah, so I did look at that. You asked about the responsibility if it ends at the street or the turnoff in the yard. We do not. We pay for anything from the water main to the shutoff in the yard. After that, the owner is responsible for paying for any kind of repairs or anything like that, with the one exception of that 5-foot piece of copper that we have, that we forced them to put that copper in, and they started getting pinholes.
Oh.
So we actually took it over. We're like, we feel a little bad that we made you put something in that's leaking, so many years later. So we actually do pay for that little 5-foot piece of copper if we have to replace it in the 4 hours it takes usually, or something like that. We do go out to bid every year. You asked me about contractors. We only get a price on footage per foot, and then dig an open trench, existing construction, and mole shot. So we get a set price. Right now it's up over 20, 25, 28, and 32 or something like that per foot to put something in. And they give us an hourly price for any kind of emergency repairs. So that goes out that we really don't have a set amount. Like I put out so many footages, like it changes every year. I try to take what we did the year before and add or subtract a few things here and there and put out a fake number, basically, that says if we had this many, how much would it cost? And they put it in at so much per foot, and then a total of it and everything else. So that's how it gets to a grand total. Let's see, one more. You asked about how we find leaks. Normally, every January, we start a leak detection program where we go around, listen to every fire hydrant in town, and we can pick up a leak if there's one between the fire hydrants. Right now, the unit that we use is getting repaired, so it's not being done yet, but it will be. And other than that, it's just whatever pops up in the ground. Somebody calls and says they hear something like that. That's pretty much in a nutshell what the questions that you asked.
Okay.
If there's more, shoot.
All right. Well, let me say, just in summary, that I mean this is like, I think it's so valuable information, and we need to capture it. We need to have an institutional memory because you ain't gonna be there forever. And I'm hoping that at least somewhere it can be recorded so that um, future superintendents and senior operators start to learn the system as well. And uh, I'm just, this is not my expertise. I'm just wondering, um, makes me nervous to think that there's a pipe there that's almost 100 years old. And maybe they are in Boston, maybe they're 150 years old in Boston. But I don't know what the protocol is to have, um, we're just going to replace as we get problems, or is there any reason to systematically put new stuff in the ground to replace the old stuff?
Mr.
Maybe
Chairman.
not.
It'll
I
get
don't
pretty
know.
expensive, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
I just want to say I think this is a great idea we're doing this, and we do have two potential future water superintendents on the call right now. That would be Matt and JR. Thank you guys for hanging in here because Chris, we hope you last another 50 years, but I'm gonna bet against that. So
That was the last year. I don't think I almost made it through last year. I don't know.
so I think this is a great idea we're doing this, and I, for one, am concerned about the mix of water mains that not only we have, but are common throughout the water distribution systems everywhere. European Commission is looking at seriously regulating the use of PVC because of its potential water quality impacts. We're not there yet in the US, and my guess is we're not going anywhere near that for the next 2 and 3/4 years. But I think there's some serious long-term things to think about in terms of water main construction. Chris, you may remember back in the day, we went from asbestos cement pipes to lined pipes. We lined them with TCE, so we would avoid the impacts of the asbestos cement. And then we ended up with a big TCE problem, et cetera, et cetera. So I think
Correct.
if anybody thinks we figured this out and we know everything, they're kidding ourselves.
We do have a little bit of asbestos pipe, but it's bitumus lined, it says. When I saw that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
we do test that once every 3 years too.
I just think this is a good idea going forward. I think we're going to learn more and more and probably be replacing different pipes as we learn more about maybe PVC was a bad idea, maybe this was a bad idea, maybe that was a bad idea, and having a database of what we have in the ground is certainly a fantastic starting point.
So,
Yeah.
Brain dump by Chris is one good thing. But is this something that engineering firms would be happy to be hired to
Well,
produce a report on and
yeah,
have
this
have it codified in a report that somebody is being paid to systematically write it down? I don't know.
this the size of the water mains is comes directly off the maps that we have. They're color coded, and they tell you how many feet of water main we have of a certain type. So that is known and logged. Gate locations. I'm talking to somebody right now. There is kind of a way you can get GIS on some of that stuff now, and looking in that, there might be some government dollars out there available to.
Is there, so for instance, is there a protocol on the life expectancy of certain materials and based on, you know, experience that is captured by engineering firms around the country on certain types of pipes? I don't know.
It's a question I could pose out there. Yeah.
I have something to add to that if I may.
Yeah.
First of all of the material that is in the ground, we had to inventory for Mass DEP, and that was due actually last October, and JR and I worked diligently on that, and then Chris helped us with some of his institutional knowledge, and we have submitted our inventory to DEP and are happy to say that we have no lead in the ground. We have been certified by DEP, and we have no further action on that. So we do have an Excel workbook that inventories all of our materials in the ground. But also, as you know, my husband Todd works for Barnstable Water, and they are doing a whole, with an engineering firm, doing a whole long-term infrastructure plan where they're looking at, what is the water pressure at the farthest ends of the district? What is the material in the ground, and what should we be replacing and when, right down to, what's your succession plan, which we kind of have, but not really have. So there are engineering firms out there that are doing that kind of evaluation, and it might be something good to look into.
Any comments from commissioners?
Jen, did you say there's a report they're producing on that for Barnstable? Is
Yeah,
that something we could get a copy of
they
to,
just started doing the evaluation at the beginning of the fiscal year. So I don't think it's available yet, but
okay.
a little birdie will tell me when it's ready, and I will ask if we can see a copy of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing I think we can learn from our neighbors.
Yeah,
So let's try to keep doing that.
yeah.
I guess one of my points is that I got on the commission here just after you finished up new water tanks, and so um, thankfully we don't have to think about that for the near future replacing. But I do think the other main part is obviously the well houses, but the piping, and the piping just seems to me to be something that because we don't get to see it like we do water tanks and well houses. Um, it just seems like it's something that it would be very hard to start from scratch to figure it out. So this DEP report is one source of information. I like what Jen is describing in Barnstable Village.
Hmm.
Dave, do you have some comments?
No, I think it's a good issue to think about. Nothing lasts forever. We have new water tanks. We've got a lot of new infrastructure, but we've got nearly century-old mains, and at some point, the capital, expenditure plan has to start addressing it. So, getting started now is a good thing rather than reacting to a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, let's have Jen figure out how to capture what Chris has told us today, and whether it's AI summary, I don't care. But also, let's get back into this when we maybe see in a year what Barnstable Village produces for a report, and see whether we think it's something that's valid for our district. That makes sense? Do you think there's something more immediate to do, Scott?
No, I think what we're doing is great. I think the inventory is a great step. It seems like we're moving pretty well with that. I would, back to a previous question about are we concerned with the lateral from the street to the home? I would say the answer to that is yes. I think it would be nice to know if we can get the information, what's in the ground.
That is what Jen was talking
We have
about,
it.
the actual stuff, that lead service line
Yep.
that we had. That's inventory of just service lines that we have.
Okay, good.
I'd like to wrap this meeting up by 7, folks. What else we got, Jen, that's going to take time?
So next on the agenda was the sick time memo to Prucom. We sent it. I did not get any responses. I don't know if anybody else did, or if we still intend to address it at one of their meetings, or do we just let it fly?
Dave?
Mr. Chairman, the Prudential Committee met last night. I was not able to attend the meeting, but the issue was not on their agenda. I've received no invitation per our suggestion that we have a working session with them. I think you and Scott have had a chance to review the letter from Attorney Pierce on what our options are. I think that we should take action fairly soon because we're coming into budget season and warrant season.
All right.
And my opinion now, I mean, I'm ready to make a motion, 2 motions. One is to require an employee who intends to retire to give us sufficient notice so that we can budget for it in the next fiscal year's budget. And then the second motion, per the attorney's advice, is to establish or to propose a warrant article to establish a fund to account for any accrued liabilities going forward.
And those two motions were expressed in writing in the letter.
Yes, I can, well, let me make a motion, because I've written it down. I move to amend the Cotuit Water Department Employee Handbook to require an employee who is eligible to receive a payment for unused sick leave and who intends to retire to inform the Board of Water Commissioners at least 4 months preceding the year of their planned retirement, so the amount owed to the employee can be included in the following fiscal year's budget, contingent on the approval of the voters of the Cotuit Fire District at the annual district meeting.
There a second?
I will second that.
Discussion by the board and then the staff. I think it makes sense. And does it address the unexpected death situation? I know we've talked about that.
That's a good point. That is covered by the law, in that in the case of death, the estate of the employee would be due those accrued amounts, but there is no time limit set on when those benefits have to be paid, other than just a reasonable amount of time, according to Attorney Pierce.
Okay.
I would also add is with Dave's second motion, which I assume is coming, if a fund is established, their paid time off through the prior fiscal year end would already be available in that fund. So then it would just be whatever days were earned in the current fiscal year, 25% of that would be added to that. And it probably could be covered by what was accrued for some of the other employees. So financially, there wouldn't be an impact in the fiscal year for that.
Right.
Chris, do you have any comment
No, I
on
think
this
that's
particular motion?
no. I'm like I said before. Usually in the case of death, we have the money in the budget. Usually left over, like it depends. Unless they would die in the last 3 months of employment or something like that, it might be a little different. But with the way the law writes, if they have to wait 3 months to get the money, it can be put into the following budget. So
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call a vote on the first motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Can you make the second motion, Dave?
The second motion, to place a warrant article before the district's voters at the 2026 annual district meeting with the language to read, to see if the district will vote to accept the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, 13D, thereby establishing a reserve fund for the future payment of accrued liabilities for compensated absences due upon the termination of employment. Said fund to be known as the, quote, Compensated Absences Reserve Fund, and to deposit in that fund the amount determined to be accrued by the Cotuit Water Department staff to date.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? The commissioners?
My only concern is I thought that Ray said he didn't need anything like that. He could just make a fund. That was the only thing. If we're basically just, he doesn't have a choice. Yeah.
Yeah, this is directly on the recommendation of Attorney Pierce, and that motion is word for word from him.
Let's go with it, and if the district wants to manipulate it.
Yeah, because they might want to input the fire department in on it also.
Yeah.
Employees. Yeah.
Admin.
I'm sorry, I didn't call for public comment on the first motion. Was there any public comment on this motion? I don't see any. Okay. Jen,
Yes.
you're okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I do think fire department and admin staff will have to be added to that fund establishment. But again, that's for the Prudential Committee to do. And I do think they should bring this article forward, as it is a fund that needs to be established by them and the treasurer. And I would think there would need to be kind of a plain layman's language explanation for the district to understand that
Yeah,
this is a
absolutely.
benefit that needs to be funded and they really don't have a choice.
Right. Good. Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I just
Yes,
want to commend Commissioner Sherbuck for his very detailed,
absolutely.
thoughtful research on this. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, I play a lawyer only on TV.
And if I could add to that discussion, just one more point, kind of on topic, kind of off topic. We received our W-2 forms for for calendar year 25. And that is the fourth year in a row that they are incorrect and need
Oh
to
my
be
goodness.
amended.
Oh,
And since it is now January 21st, we are going to have a fifth year in a row that our W-2 forms are wrong. And I am pleading with somebody from the board to address this with Prudential Committee. I know Ryan is trying hard to get the amended forms, but we need some immediate action to switch payroll companies and get this going. So please.
Question, is there, this is amazing, Jen, that this is happening.
Amen.
And
If I did my job wrong for 5 years in a row, I would hope.
well, that's my
that-
point. I hate to raise this question, but I'm not exactly sure who's responsible, but if it's like the treasurer or somebody like that, should we recommend a replacement of that person? This is ridiculous. And it's way over time. This is too many times. We're wasting our time. We're wasting your time. It's costing you guys money. And it's just unacceptable. Once is bad, twice is unacceptable, but we're on 3, 4, and 5 here. So my suggestion is whoever's responsible this should be let go and get a new person. Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we make a recommendation to Prudential Committee along those lines.
okay. Is there a second to the motion to work with the Prudential Committee to either change payroll or resolve this some way that is going to be satisfactory going forward? I'm just going to say we have a consensus on that, Scott. We'll just make it. We'll make sure it gets transmitted. I think, Jen, that this. Go ahead, Dave.
Could I also ask that we ask what is the W-2 situation in other water departments near us? Because those employees are also on the same county retirement plan, and I understand that's where the problem is the way that those county benefits are being accounted for. So why is Cotuit getting bad W-2s and our other districts getting bad ones as well?
So I spoke with the treasurer at Barnstable when this first happened. They use a different payroll company, and he confirmed with me that their W-2 reflected the retirement withholding correctly. After that, I circled back with my counterparts at COM. They also use a different payroll company, different from the one that Barnstable uses. They confirmed that their W-2s were correct. And I think we checked with somebody else, and I can't remember who, because that was a couple of years ago.
Can we get the names of those payroll companies so we can
Sure.
recommend to the treasurer, like, we know who you should switch to, please
Yep.
do?
Yep.
Thanks.
And then I will also say the reason that this issue was found is because somebody who used to be an auditor for the district prepares the tax returns for one of our employees, and he found it right away.
Got it. Yeah, I think if we go to Treasurer Perone with the name of an alternative that is doing it correctly in other districts, that should bring an end to this. Is it ADP or Paychex that is doing this to us?
Paychecks.
Paychex, got it.
And they were pretty big, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but pretty stupid.
Okay, anything else?
I've heard
Old
that from other
business?
districts too.
Any other old business?
Nothing else under old business.
New business?
New business, just a quick, um, in your packet, there was the beginnings of the fiscal 27 operating budget and capital improvement budget. We should be prepared to discuss that in depth at the February meeting. Chris is working on getting some costs for some of the capital improvement things that are on the list. I've done a lot of work on the operating budget. Where are we at with rates from our vendors and what has gone up and what hasn't? And I am in the weeds with it. So we'll have some good recommendations on the operating budget. If there's anything that the commissioners have concerns about that they want to address in fiscal 27, like, Scott, we have some money budgeted in there for source water protection. If we want to do any massaging of that information, we should be prepared for that, to discuss that at the February meeting. So I just wanted to get that in front of you. And then along those lines, in there is the blank evaluation form for our superintendent, Mr. Wiseman. We should be prepared to do an evaluation for him either at the February meeting, or if you'd like to schedule a separate meeting to do that, we can do that as well. Commissioner Turbuck is going to see if he can find last year's evaluation, because I didn't have a copy of that to do any of the goal setting or to, ensure that he met his goals, but we should be looking forward to that at the February meeting. And I'll take your recommendation if you want to do it at the regular meeting or a separate meeting. And then last but not least, actually, there's two more things. One is we have a leak adjustment request from Commissioner Turbuck for his property, so he will recuse himself for that discussion. And we can take that if you're ready to move on to that.
Okay, Dave, do you want to recuse? Or, are we coming back? Is this the last item?
The only other item would be to approve the minutes and set a date for the next meeting. So if you want to
Yeah.
take that out of order, we can do that.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the November, we got the date, meeting,
November 19th.
19th?
I've read and recommend we approve.
Okay. And is there a second, Scott?
I'm going to let you second if you want to, Mark, because I have not read them yet.
Oh, well, we can put that off then. We'll put that off to next month.
Okay.
And looking at the third Wednesday in February being the 18th, would that work for people?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, Zoom only.
Yeah, I think so for until it gets a little warmer. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
You hear that, Scott?
Is this in person, did I hear?
Not at
Yeah.
Freedom Hall.
Okay, I'm going to
It'll
write
be
that
in
right in
Zoom,
my
yeah.
calendar.
Right.
And
Okay.
one more thing before you go,
Yep.
Scott, did you have a chance to review Mark's letter for the annual district meeting, annual report?
I have not, but I will look at it first thing in the morning.
Thank you. And then we can get that off to Charlie and not be on the naughty list.
I'm going to ask if there's any other public comment for the meeting in general. If not, we'll take up the leak adjustment.
Okay. Dave, we'll see you at the next meeting, and I'll be in touch with you tomorrow.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
I do just want to ask, what is a leak adjustment, and does the Civic Association need to, do you still need me on the meeting?
So the district has policy around catastrophic leaks that may happen, and some people, a pipe bursts, there's a huge water usage. You're welcome to stay if you want to. It's not an executive session discussion.
Oh, okay.
Just that the leak occurred at Commissioner Turbuck's house. So obviously we don't want him voting on his own leak adjustment.
All right, I'll stick around. Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again just so I can pull the information up. And just take me 1 minute to scroll to that request. Let me just minimize this. Okay, I will flip this. Hang on 1 second. I'm just trying to get rid of all my um, things that are blocking it. I gotta share the screen. Sorry.
Well, I just got my bill today.
Yeah, lucky
Everybody got
you.
them today. Is that the
Yeah,
point?
lucky you. Yeah. I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. All right. I don't know why it's doing this. Can you see the leak request sideways on the screen?
It's
Yes.
sideways. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta be rotated. Yeah.
So for some reason I can't.
If you just want to paraphrase it for us, that'd be
Yeah,
okay.
I think
Okay.
that's the,
So sorry that it's sideways. For some reason I can't get back to it. But so Commissioner Charbak had a leak at his house. He explained to me that the house is kind of split between he and his brother. There's literally 2 furnaces, 2 hot water heaters, and all of that fun stuff. So um, they did discover that I called him because I noticed that the usage at the property was high when I was doing the exception reports. He did say that there was a time where there was a flooded basement. They had called plumbers in. There was nobody, nobody could find where the leak was. And then during the cold snap in January, the heating system failed. PS Ideal came to repair the ignition system on the oil furnace. And at that time, they were finding that there wasn't pressure. So there was a leak somewhere. They did find it in a crawl space eventually. We did data log the account, and the chart is there if I can get to it. There we go. Sideways, you can see the days where the flood happened, um, where the leak was occurring, and the period in which it was fixed. So he is requesting relief for that catastrophic leak. I did print, I think I can get to this one. Hang on 1 second. I did go through his activity to find the previous high usage, which was 84,000 gallons. And using that information compared to the 234,000 gallons that he used in this period. And again, I will rotate my screen, stand by. We have calculated what the bill would be if we approved the leak adjustment. So he would be responsible for double his previous high usage. And then after that, the 66,000 gallons would be at the leak adjustment rate, putting back in the stabilization fee. His adjusted bill would be $2,749 compared to the current bill. So we would be requesting relief for $2,038.70.
thank you, Jen. So uh, we have a policy that uses these calculations. The idea is to provide relief for people who have a one-off situation. We don't give relief to people who have multiple instances of this kind of accident. And so this is using the standard policy that we use for all the other ones that we've approved, and I see no reason not to grant this relief. Scott, do you want to make a motion?
Before I motion, I'm just wondering, Jen, what is the normal bill for this property? Is this how far above this from what we've seen? I can't read the sideways thing.
Yeah, sorry, I've turned it again.
That's all right. That's all right.
Very high above. So normally this property is in the January to June period, 36,000, 23,000, 23,000, 33,000, very consistent. Even in the summer
And how does that relate to
season,
dollars compared? Because the other one is
um,
dollars, right?
let me see, I can tell you
Just trying to get a sense
exactly.
of how much higher this is than
It's
normal.
extremely high, especially up
Yeah.
over 100,000. But let me just see, I'm pulling up his account right now. So in the past, his bills have been $194, $117. The
Those are
off-season bills are,
those are 6 month.
yeah, the highest one I see back in for the summer of 22
Okay,
is
so
$670.
show the cost one again, please. The other slide that you had up there, the adjustment slide.
Yep, coming back to that. Let me flip it around again.
So he's gone from $600 or $700 up to potentially a
4,700.
$4,700 bill.
Yep.
And so, the policy is to cut that in half to 2038.
The policy is that they're responsible for double their previous high usage, and then anything over that would be eligible for the leak adjustment. So in his case, over that is 66,000 gallons that the rate is from that cost of service study that we did a few years ago using percentages of what is fire protection versus what is for supplying the cost of supplying the water. And then we take into account, employee salary and the electric bills and
All right.
basically some
I
infrastructure.
don't mean to belabor this, and I mean, my suggestion is we should treat this as we treat any other service, and I'm sure that Dave would agree with that. But it does strike me that going from $600 or $700 a year to $2,000 is pretty substantial
Yeah.
increase. And I just want to make sure that's consistent with how we would handle another property.
It is, and I think it also is, just a good way to make people realize that we take this seriously.
And it
Oh,
shares the cost with the homeowner who ultimately is responsible for the water used at their
Right,
property.
right.
So this helps share the cost of that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, I will second the motion.
Okay. I will call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Perfect.
Okay, so unanimous. Um, I've just had a house guest arrive, so I'm gonna ask that we could sign off. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, we'll call the meeting over at 7:13 p.m. And
Excellent.
we'll look forward to seeing you on February 18th. And thanks very much, everybody, for coming, especially JR and Matt.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
you
you
guys hanging
guys.
around.
Stay.
Good to see you
We'll
both.
we'll
All right.
hope to see you next month as well.
Yeah, we'll see you next month.
All right, take care.
Thank you for your
Thanks,
time. Have a good
everybody.
night.
Thank you. Good
Thanks,
night.
Jen.